Yo, what's up, Fantasy League enjoyers? Hopefully, your Fantasy League has been going as well as mine has. This is shaping up to be the absolute best result I've ever had in a Fantasy League in Counter Strike, and I'm super happy with the picks. I'm saying it could because I'm recording this the day before the last games of EU A. Because there's a fast turnaround, there's actually no days off in between A and B. There was between the Americas and EU, but there won't be between the two EU portions. I wanted to record this now rather than tomorrow because just get it up a little bit sooner. And my last one was released super late on because it was just before I was supposed to be working on a call time. So we've absolutely smashed this one. I'm super happy with back in Cloud Nine. I said I thought they would be a dark horse and an upset team and be underrated by a lot of people. I talked about the prices of Heavy God and Exile being super low, and it was just too good of an offer to refuse. And it's worked out. They went through 3-1. Really impressed by Heavy God and Exile. This Cloud9 team has the makings of a very interesting squad going to the major. They could be an upset team. They could go pretty far. Navi went through 3-1 after getting beaten by Mouse, who went through 3-0, of course, and then Vitality also went through 3-0, and Mezzi proved to be a really solid pick. I went back and forth between Mezzi and Rain because they're around a similar price point. Rain's had an amazing tournament too, so really you couldn't have gone wrong between the two of those choices. But yeah, the fact I'm 91st out of 14,000 plus players is incredible. I've never got this high before. And I don't think I'll change much because tomorrow's matchups have a lot of middle of the pack teams like Saw, Fnatic. I know some people would have banked on Fnatic with like Blame F and Mattis and players like that, and I nearly did too in my initial draft. But I don't think I'm going to drop that many points. If I do go out, it'll be like top 2, top 3% at worst case scenario because all my players have already made it, and I'll be padding obviously points after this. So it's been a resounding success, and this is going to catapult us up the celebrity leaderboard into second position, I think, and I won't be that far off top. I should mention though that the major, in all of its different stages, is going to be 150% points, so you're going to be getting an extra 50%. So the major is going to be prime time. Want to make sure you're dialed in and locked in. Should be very interesting. So let's have a look at the teams and the opening matchups here, shall we? Before I get into the players, I've got a bit more time. Like obviously the last video, I was super pressed for time because I had a very early call time, and some people have been asking like, how is it to adjust to the different call times? Because I mean, we're waking up so early here in Bucharest. I know it's even earlier for people back in the UK and sort of Central Europe. It is a bit weird. Like, I'd be lying if I said that it was ideal, but I completely understand why it's the case. Obviously, it's on Chinese times, Perfect World Major in Shanghai. But yeah, I mean, waking up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. to cast and then being done sometimes at 5 or 6 a.m. is very strange. Because Jackie and I have been on all of the earliest games, and a couple of days we've had one best of three to cast. They've been really fast 2-0s. It is really strange. You kind of sat there at 6 a.m. thinking like, what do I do now for the rest of the day? It's a bit weird, but I've been thoroughly enjoying the games and casting, and thanks a lot for all of the positivity and the kind remarks and comments. It means a lot. Um, so yeah, it's been odd, but I've had a good time. Now, I'll also discuss which teams I think are going to make it through from the major because people wanted me to do that as well, kind of a mini pick'ems, so to speak. So I'll do that in a second, but let's have a look at the opening matchups first because this will always give us a little bit of info and educate our decisions maybe a little bit better. So G2 face Nip, Spirit against Bait, Eternal Fire and Aurora, VP and Passion, Heroic Paravision, Stralis 9 Pandas, Big Sashi, and 3D Max TSM. So, in the EU RMRs, I thought there might be a few upsets in that opening day. I thought that, FaZe might lose to Cloud9. I did make that of a point. I thought Vitality may lose their first game. They're notoriously a slow to start. And although there wasn't upsets, there were a lot of very close games. I don't really see any upsets here, if I'm being honest with you. Like, I think this is pretty cut and dry. I feel all the favourites should be winning. And so G2, Spirit, Eternal Fire, VP, Heroic, Astralis, Big, and 3D Max, for me, are the favourites in each of those games. Now, I will put in the caveat that I think Astralis may struggle against 9 Pandas. For those of you who are unaware, and this definitely should factor into your decision making if you wanted to go for Astralis, Device won't be at the major. He won't be at the RMRs. He is currently suffering with health issues, mental health issues, and so we wish him all the best, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery and feels better soon. It means that Astralis will have Bro back in the roster again, and Cadian will be AWPing and IGLing as he has for many of his previous teams. So it's not like you're thrown into a position where, like Boomich when he was AWPing for Cloud9, like Cadian actually is a legit AWPer and he's a legit IGL on top of it, similar to like a Fallen, for example. But he obviously is a drop off as well from Device. Like there's no getting around that point. Device is a star player, a key player in this Astralis outfit. And then it brings into question, even though Bro and his tweets and the way he conducts himself is very mature and very respectable, you have to think that there's going to be some animosity or you know some growing pains with Cadian now as the IGL and Bro coming back. I just don't have too much faith in Astralis. I think they should have enough to beat Nine Pandas, but I think that they're going to really struggle at this RMR. I'd be very surprised. Now they could. Cadian's the type of guy that can really up his level in situations like this. We've seen it many times in the past. But I also remember back to the last RMRs when he was with Liquid, it didn't work out, and I feel like this might be a very similar story. So, off that basis, I do have some players in mind, which I'll get back into in a second, but we'll do kind of like the mini pick'ems here. So I personally think, and I don't know how the system works, I assume that G2 and Spirit won't play each other in the second round, assuming they both get the win. But I would say G2 and Spirit are my favourites to take a 3-0. I think Eternal Fire, VP, um, Heroic, Big, that's 6 teams. So I'm going to have G2 and Spirit as a potential 3-0 pick. They can count the other one as going through. Eternal Fire to go through, VP to go through, Heroic to go through. I'm going to have Big to go through. I think 3D Max will go through. And I think Bait will go through. And that's the 8 teams I'm going to go with. So obviously I've left out Astralis. I've left out NIP. I've left out Sashi and TSM and some of these other teams. Those are personally my picks because I think Astralis are going to struggle. And I've been very impressed with how Bait have been playing as of late. They may choke though when it comes to a pressure cook around a situation like this because we saw at the Alista Masters they had one good game and then they fell off pretty hard. I'm not sure if a team of this lack of experience is going to be able to get it done, but I've got to go off the basis of like what I've seen from them recently in terms of their performances have been very impressive to me, and also I think in terms of their talent that they have, they're a very good team in that regard as well. So those are my picks to go through. 0-3 picks. I think Nip have got a map in them, but I don't have much confidence. I really don't have much confidence in them whatsoever. Passion UA, let's have a look. It's the team with Jambo in. I think they probably got a map in them as well. Paravision, Patsy, obviously you got Kicker in there as well. Art Frost. This is going to be a team that could even make it through. To be honest with you, like you could trade them out for maybe a 3D Max. Not a bad team. And then obviously Nine Pandas is the team with Idis Balance in it, and they're all good for wins. Sashi also good for a win. Obviously they had a really good major RMR last time around, and then you've got Aurora, who Lackey, Kensi, Norway, etc. A lot of Russians in this. Do you know what? I actually think that for the 0-3 picks, I might go for Nip. I might go for NIP. And that's probably not going to be a popular choice, but I don't have much faith in NIP right now. I think they've got some great individuals. Wrinkle is a phenomenal talent. Rez is really, really good still. Obviously missed NIP, but I just got a feeling they're going to get banged out here. I think they're going to be on a really rough start because obviously their opening fixture being against G2, I think G2 are going to hammer them into the ground. And I just don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to be able to bounce back. So I'm going to say NIP for my 0-3. Anywho, this is our team. This is what it's looking like. So I've kind of spread the wealth a little bit in terms of not going for a huge commitment of double stacking like I did previously with Cloud9, but that was because the prices were so attractive. So I've got Nico as like my main man, heavy hitter with Tessus. Those are the two I'm going for. Searson was a pretty good price as well on Big, and I think Big will make it through. They've been playing better. Searson's been playing a little bit better. Rigon's been playing a bit rough as of late. Could be a problem that holds Big back, but I'm going to believe in them. I'm going to believe in Searson for his price. And just to give you an idea of how much he cost, he's 195k. I think that's decent value for a player that's starting to step up again and kind of reach that level that we expect from him. But it's mainly around and like G2 going through. We've got Tessis as well. Heroic have started to kind of break through the shackles just a tad. I think Mage is always good in RMRs and Mages to back, and he's very cheap. Eternal Fire had an extremely good run last time around, and I think that they're in a good spot right now. And then I felt like I had to get a Spirit player, and their Chopper was cheap. I think he'll be able to get some points for me. So I feel less confident about this team than I did the last one when I made it, but I still feel like I'm guaranteed points off at least 2 or 3 of these players. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm guaranteed points off these 4, to be honest with you. I can't imagine that Spirit, Eternal Fire, Heroic, and GT don't make it through, and pretty convincingly. I'm expecting them, maybe Eternal Fire struggle a little bit, or Heroic struggle a bit, and they have to go through 3 and 2. But even then, I think Testis is normally going to be towards the top of the scoreboard, and like Mage is so cheap, and he's eco-friendly, his stats on getting SMG kills are extremely high, that I'm going to get some points either way. Searson is the one question mark, right, for 195k, because Big could make it through, but also, if we're being completely honest, Big could be a contender for a 1 and 3 or even a 0-3 if things go really horribly for them. They're that kind of team that's so up and down. I don't really know what to expect. I'm having faith, but it could be misplaced. Anyway, what's your team looking like? Comment below, let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully, we do really well again. That would be great. Peace.